Commander Sarah Chen pressed her palm against the cold viewport of the UES Constantine, watching ribbons of purple and blue gas twist through the Carina Nebula. The bridge crew worked in tense silence, running deep space scans of the debris field that stretched before them like a graveyard of broken stars. "Anything on the quantum arrays?" she asked, turning to her sensor officer, Lieutenant Park. "Nothing yet, Commander. The nebula's radiation is playing havoc with our readings." Park's fingers danced across his holographic interface. "But there's something odd about the particle dispersion patterns out there. They're too organized." Chen nodded, dark eyes narrowing. The Constantine had been dispatched to this sector after 3 coalition supply convoys vanished without a trace. The brass suspected Vraxian raiders, but Chen's gut told her something else was at play. The attack patterns didn't match typical Vraxian tactics. "Commander," Park's voice cracked with excitement, "I'm picking up a temporal anomaly. Bearing 047, Mark 223. It's massive." "Show me," Chen ordered, striding to the main tactical display. The hologram flickered to life, revealing a sphere of distorted space roughly 3 kilometers in diameter. Within it, something massive lurked, its outline obscured by what appeared to be crystallized time itself. "Match any known signatures?" Chen asked, though she already suspected the answer. In 15 years of service, she'd never seen anything like this. Lieutenant Rivera, the ship's historian, spoke up from her station. "Running it through the database now. But wait." Her eyes widened. "Commander, you need to see this." The tactical display zoomed in, enhancement algorithms stripping away layers of temporal distortion. As the image cleared, Chen felt her breath catch. The object was a ship, but unlike anything in the modern coalition fleet. Its hull was midnight black, nearly 4 kilometers long, with sweeping lines that spoke of both beauty and menace. But it was the designation visible on its bow that made Chen's heart skip a beat. "U.S. Hyperion," she whispered, "Mother of Stars." The bridge fell silent. Every officer knew the legend of the Hyperion, Earth's greatest supercarrier, lost during humanity's first interstellar war. Some said it had been destroyed testing an experimental drive system. Others claimed its crew had gone rogue, fleeing known space. But no one had expected to find it here, preserved in a bubble of frozen time. "Get me a secure channel to Coalition Command," Chen ordered, her mind racing through the implications, "and begin scanning for any signs of active systems or life support." "Ma'am," Park interrupted, "I'm detecting energy readings from within the temporal field. They're pulsing, like a heartbeat." Before Chen could respond, a new signal cut through their comm systems. It wasn't random interference or background radiation. It was a clear, repeating pattern, an old Earth emergency broadcast frequency that hadn't been used in centuries. "It's coming from the Hyperion," Rivera confirmed, her voice filled with awe. "Commander, I think it's awake." Chen stared at the ancient warship, its hull still pristine despite the centuries that had passed outside its temporal sanctuary. The Hyperion wasn't just a relic of humanity's past, it was a symbol of what they'd lost. The technological marvels of the first age of space, scattered and forgotten during the long dark that followed. "How long until we can send a boarding team?" she asked. "The temporal field is stable," Park reported. "We can match its frequency and create a safe passage in about 3 hours." Chen nodded, already composing her report to command in her head. The Constantine had just stumbled onto something that could change the course of the war, perhaps even the future of human civilization itself. But as she studied the massive vessel, a small voice in the back of her mind whispered a warning. The Hyperion hadn't been lost. It had been hidden, and whatever was stored within its ancient hull had been deemed too dangerous to remain in human hands. "Prep the boarding teams," she ordered. "Full containment protocols. Whatever's waiting for us in there has had centuries to prepare for visitors." The ancient supercarrier loomed in the viewport, its secrets waiting to be uncovered. The war with the Vraxians had pushed humanity to the brink. Now, perhaps, the ghosts of their past had returned to even the odds. The boarding team's mag boots clicked against the Hyperion's pristine deck plating as they made their way through corridors that hadn't seen human footsteps in centuries. Commander Chen led the way, her helmet lights cutting through the darkness, illuminating surfaces that showed no sign of age or decay. Engineering team, report, she called over the secure channel. Main engineering is remarkable, Commander. Lieutenant Patel's voice crackled back. Everything's preserved perfectly. The temporal field didn't just stop time. It completely isolated the ship from normal space-time. There isn't even dust. Chen paused at an intersection, consulting the old schematics they'd pulled from Coalition archives. The Hyperion's layout was unlike anything in modern ships, with circular corridors surrounding a massive central core. Life support is stabilizing, Rivera reported from the Constantine. Atmosphere reading is breathable, though I'd keep suits on for now. They reached a sealed bulkhead marked AI Core Access, authorized personnel only. The security panel beside it still glowed with power, its display showing strings of code in an ancient programming language. Patel, we need you at the AI core, Chen ordered. Something about this felt too convenient, too preserved. Anyone else getting the feeling we're being guided? As if in response, the bulkhead doors slid open with a soft hiss. The AI core beyond was a cathedral of technology, rising through multiple decks. At its center, a crystalline structure pulsed with soft blue light, threads of energy dancing through its faceted surface. That's impossible, Patel whispered as she joined them, her diagnostic tools already scanning. This is a quantum consciousness matrix. We theorized about them, but nobody's ever built one that worked. The energy requirements alone would be. The crystal structure pulsed brighter, and a voice filled their comm systems, warm, human, and very much alive. Welcome aboard the Hyperion, it said. I'm Captain James Martinez, or what's left of him, anyway. Holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing faces, dozens of them, each a preserved consciousness of the original crew. Chen found herself staring into eyes that had witnessed the dawn of human spaceflight. You're still alive, she breathed. All of you. In a manner of speaking, Martinez's consciousness replied. When we realized what the Hyperion was capable of, what it could mean for humanity, we made a choice. Our bodies died centuries ago, but our minds, we transferred them into the ship's quantum matrix. We became its guardians. Patel's scanners beeped urgently. Commander, the technology in this room alone is beyond anything we have. The quantum processing power, the storage density. This is centuries ahead of our best systems. Why? Chen asked, addressing the ghostly image of Martinez. Why hide all this? The Coalition is losing a war. This technology could save millions of lives. Martinez's hologram smiled sadly. Because humanity wasn't ready. The Hyperion wasn't just a carrier. It was a testbed for technologies that could reshape the galaxy. Weapons that could destroy solar systems. Drives that could tear holes in space-time. In the wrong hands. The Vraxians, Chen realized. They're not just attacking shipping lanes. They're searching for you. They remember, another consciousness spoke up, an elderly woman in an engineer's uniform. Their species is long-lived. They still tell stories about what one Earth ship did to their fleet during the First War. Before Chen could respond, alarms blared through the ship. Rivera's voice cut through their comms. Commander, multiple Vraxian signatures just dropped out of hyperspace. They're heading straight for us. Martinez's hologram turned to Chen, his expression grave. It seems we've run out of time. The question is, Commander Chen, are you ready to learn what the Hyperion can really do? Chen looked around the AI core, at the preserved minds of humanity's past watching her expectantly. They'd hidden this ship and its power for centuries, waiting for the right moment, the right people. Show me, she said firmly. Show me everything. The quantum matrix pulsed brighter, and information began flooding their neural interfaces, schematics, tactical data, weapons systems that defied modern physics. The Hyperion was awakening, and with it, humanity's forgotten legacy of power. They had less than an hour before the Vraxian fleet arrived. It would have to be enough time to learn how to wage war with weapons that could shake the stars themselves. Time remaining until Vraxian's strike fleet intercept. 47 minutes, the Constantine's AI announced as Chen sprinted through the Hyperion's corridors, her team struggling to keep pace. Status on main systems, she demanded, skidding around a corner toward the bridge. The deck plates hummed beneath her feet as ancient reactors stirred to life. Primary power at 30% and climbing, Paddle reported from engineering. But Commander, these systems, they're like nothing I've ever seen. The reactor isn't using fusion or antimatter. It's harvesting energy directly from quantum foam. Martinez's consciousness guided them through the ship's neural network, his voice a constant presence in their comms. Focus on the defensive systems first. Shield harmonics, point defense grid, and the temporal stabilizers. Without those, we're vulnerable. They reached the bridge, a circular chamber dominated by holographic interfaces and neural link stations. Each station hummed to life as they entered, recognizing their presence. How can we possibly learn to operate all this in less than an hour? Lieutenant Park asked, staring at the alien configurations of the tactical station. You won't have to, the elderly engineer's consciousness. Dr. Sarah Wong, Chen had learned, answered. We'll guide you. Think of us as a very sophisticated training program. Chen settled into the captain's neural link chair, feeling the ship's systems connecting directly to her mind. The sensation was overwhelming, like trying to drink from a fire hose of information. Vraxian fleet composition updating, Rivera called from the Constantine. 6 heavy cruisers, 15 destroyers, and something big. Really big. Dreadnought, Martinez confirmed grimly. They're not taking chances. They remember what the Hyperion can do, even if they don't fully understand it. Chen's neural link suddenly flooded with tactical data from the First War. She saw through Martinez's memories, the Hyperion facing down an entire Vraxian battle group, its advanced weapons turning space itself into a weapon. Commander, Patel's voice cracked with excitement. Main weapons are online. The quantum matrix is, wait, something's wrong. Power fluctuations in the temporal core. Warning signals flashed across Chen's neural interface. The temporal field protecting the Hyperion was becoming unstable, centuries of perfect stasis beginning to unravel. The field wasn't meant to last this long, Dr. Wong explained urgently. We need to get the ship's native temporal stabilizers online, or the time dilation effects could tear us apart. 35 minutes to intercept, the AI updated. Chen split her crew, sending teams racing through the massive vessel. Each section they activated revealed new wonders and new challenges. Weapon systems that could redirect gravity itself. Shields that existed partially in higher dimensions. Engines that didn't so much move through space as convince space to move around them. Power at 60%, Paddle reported. But these readings, Commander, I think the ship is adaptive. It's learning from us, integrating with our modern systems. She always was a quick study, Martine said proudly. The Hyperion wasn't just built, she was grown. The more you work with her, the more she works with you. A violent shudder ran through the ship as another temporal distortion rippled through the hull. On the tactical display, the Vraxian fleet grew closer, their energy signatures burning like angry stars. 20 minutes, the AI announced. Chen felt sweat beading on her forehead as she worked to integrate centuries of tactical knowledge. The neural link was getting smoother, the ship's responses more intuitive. But would it be enough? Temporal stabilizers online. Patel shouted triumphantly. Field is normalizing. We're fully in normal spacetime now. Main weapons charged, Park added from tactical. Point defense grid active. But Commander, these weapon yields, they're beyond anything we've ever. I know, Chen cut him off, watching the tactical display. That's why they were hidden. That's why they waited. The Vraxian fleet dropped out of hyperspace early, their weapons already charged. On her neural display, Chen could see their energy signatures, feel their targeting systems locking on. All stations, she ordered, feeling the combined knowledge of two crews, one living, one digital, flowing through her mind. Battle stations. The Hyperion systems sang with power, ancient weapons warming up as humanity's forgotten guardian prepared to reveal itself to the galaxy once more. The next few minutes would determine whether they'd found this ship in time to save the Coalition, or whether its power would be their doom. Space rippled around the Hyperion as its defensive systems snapped into full power. The Vraxian fleet's opening salvo, a barrage of plasma torpedoes and graviton beams, splashed harmlessly against shields that existed partially in higher dimensions. Multiple targeting solutions available, Park announced from Tactical, his hands dancing across holographic controls. But these weapon systems, they don't just destroy targets. They rewrite local physics, Dr. Wang's consciousness explained. Watch. Chen felt the weapon's interface merge with her neural link. Through it, she selected a Vraxian destroyer on the edge of their formation. A single quantum lance lashed out from the Hyperion's bow. Instead of impacting the enemy ship directly, it created a microscopic singularity that existed for a fraction of a second. The destroyer imploded, crushed by its own mass, as local spacetime curved in on itself. Mother of stars, Rivera whispered over the comm. The Vraxian fleet scattered, breaking their tight formation. Their return fire was desperate, uncoordinated. Each shot that struck the Hyperion's shields created cascading patterns of temporal energy. They're trying to match our shield frequency, Martinez observed. But they don't understand. Our shields don't operate on frequencies. They operate on dimensional harmonics. Chen nodded, already adapting to the ship's unique combat style. The Hyperion didn't fight like a conventional warship. It fought like a force of nature, bending reality itself to its will. Commander, Patil called from engineering. The quantum core is showing unusual activity. It's learning from the combat data, evolving its responses in real time. A massive energy spike from the Vraxian dreadnought caught their attention. The enormous vessel was powering up its main gun, a weapon designed to crack planets. Evasive maneuvers, Chen ordered, but Martinez's consciousness interrupted. No, show them why they feared us. Activate the micro-wormhole drive. Chen felt new options flooding her neural interface. The Hyperion's most closely guarded secret wasn't its weapons. It was its ability to create controlled spatial distortions for tactical movement. Executing micro-jump, she announced, feeling the ship's systems align with her thoughts. Space folded. For a heartbeat, the Hyperion existed everywhere and nowhere. Then they reappeared directly behind the dreadnought, inside its shields. Target their main power core, Chen ordered. Maximum yield. The quantum lance struck true. The dreadnought didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, its matter and energy scattered across 11 dimensions. By the void, Park breathed. No wonder they hid this ship. These weapons could end civilizations. Power isn't just about destruction, Martinez reminded them. Watch this. The quantum matrix pulsed, and new tactical options appeared. Chen selected one, watching in amazement as the Hyperion generated a controlled temporal field around a damaged Vraxian cruiser. Time reversed within the bubble. Broken hull plates reknitted themselves. Plasma fires extinguished. The enemy ship was restored to pristine condition. Welcome to the age of consequence-free warfare, Dr. Wang said softly. When you can undo any damage you cause, war becomes a very different game. The remaining Vraxian ships began to retreat, their crews finally understanding what they faced. But Chen saw something in their movement patterns, not just fear, but recognition. They know this ship, she realized. Not from records or stories. They've fought it before. Yes, Martinez admitted. The same ships, the same crews. We've been dancing this dance for centuries, trapped in a temporal loop of our own making. But now, with your help, maybe we can finally break the cycle. The quantum matrix hummed with new energy as the Hyperion systems continued to evolve, integrating centuries of preserved knowledge with modern tactical doctrine. Chen felt the ship changing around them, becoming something new. Neither purely ancient nor modern, but a bridge between ages. All Vraxian vessels have jumped to hyperspace, Park reported. We've won. No, Chen corrected, studying the tactical data streaming through her neural link. We've just started. They'll be back with a larger fleet, and now we have to decide what to do with this power. The quantum consciousness of the original crew watched silently, waiting to see how their modern counterparts would handle the responsibility they'd inherited. The Hyperion had awakened, but its greatest battles and hardest choices still lay ahead. 3 days after the initial battle, the Hyperion hung in high orbit around the Coalition outpost of New Gibraltar, its midnight hull reflecting starlight like liquid obsidian. In the ship's conference room, Chen faced down a collection of holographic admirals, their expressions ranging from awe to barely concealed fear. "Let me get this straight," Admiral Hayes said, his hologram flickering. "You're telling me this ship can generate its own micro-wormholes, manipulate time, and has weapons that break the laws of physics. And that's just what we've discovered so far," Chen confirmed, standing beside the spectral form of Captain Martinez. "The quantum matrix is still revealing new systems, integrating them with our modern technology. The real question," Martinez added, his holographic form somehow more solid than the Admiral's, "is how the Vraxians will respond. They're gathering their forces." As if on cue, Lieutenant Park's voice cut through the ship's comm system. "Commander, multiple hyperspace signatures detected. It's the largest Vraxian fleet I've ever seen." Chen excused herself from the conference and raced to the bridge, the quantum consciousness of the original crew flowing through the ship's systems alongside her. The tactical display told a sobering story. Over 50 Vraxian capital ships, including 3 dreadnoughts, emerging from hyperspace in attack formation. "They're not just trying to destroy us," Dr. Wang's consciousness observed. "They're trying to erase us from history. Look at their temporal signatures." Chen saw it through the enhanced sensors. Each Vraxian ship carried temporal shielding, specifically designed to counter the Hyperion's capabilities. They'd spent the last 3 days preparing for this moment. "All hands, battle stations," Chen ordered, settling into the neural link chair. "Constantine, withdraw to safe distance. This is about to get complicated." The Vraxian fleet launched their first attack, not with conventional weapons, but with temporal disruptors designed to force the Hyperion back into normal spacetime. The ancient carrier shuddered as conflicting time streams battled around its hull. "They've learned," Martinez noted grimly. "But so have we. Initiate Protocol Omega." The quantum matrix pulsed, and Chen felt new tactical options flooding her neural interface. The Hyperion's weapons reconfigured themselves, matching the temporal frequency of their attackers. "Target the lead dreadnought," Chen commanded. "Show them what happens when you corner humanity." The quantum lance struck true, but this time the Vraxian flagship was ready. Its temporal shields flared, catching the attack in a bubble of frozen time. For a moment, both ships stood locked in temporal combat, each trying to assert their version of reality. "Power fluctuations in the quantum core," Paddle reported from engineering. "The matrix is evolving. It's combining our tactical innovations with its original programming." Chen felt it through the neural link. The Hyperion was learning, adapting, becoming something new. Modern coalition battle doctrine merged with centuries-old tactical data, creating strategies that had never existed before. "Multiple micro-jumps," she ordered, feeling the ship respond to her thoughts. "Random pattern, maximum dispersion." The Hyperion danced through spacetime, appearing and disappearing faster than the Vraxian targeting systems could track. Each jump brought them closer to a different enemy vessel, each quantum lance strike precisely calculated to overwhelm their temporal defenses. "They're shifting formation," Park announced. trying to create a temporal containment net. "Let them try," Martin said, his consciousness merging with the ship's tactical systems. "Show them why humanity's greatest weapon was never our technology. It was our ability to adapt." Chen understood. The Vraxians had spent centuries preparing for the Hyperion they remembered. But this wasn't the same ship anymore. It was something new. A hybrid of past and present, of digital and human consciousness. "All weapons, full spread," she commanded. "Target their temporal shield generators. Let's remind them why they feared us in the first place." The Hyperion unleashed its full arsenal, not just attacking the enemy ships, but rewriting the very space they occupied. Vraxian vessels found themselves fighting in bubbles of accelerated time, their crews aging years and seconds. Others were caught in temporal eddies, experiencing the same moment over and over. "By the stars," Admiral Hayes whispered over the comm. "What are we watching?" "The future," Chen replied, watching as the mighty Vraxian fleet began to break formation. Or maybe the past. With the Hyperion, it's becoming hard to tell the difference. The battle wasn't over, but its outcome was already echoing through time. Humanity's forgotten guardian had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. The aftermath of the battle brought a new kind of chaos to the Hyperion's halls. Coalition diplomats and admirals crowded the conference rooms, their voices echoing through corridors that had known centuries of silence. Chen watched from the observer's gallery as another heated debate unfolded below. The ship must be placed under direct coalition military control, Admiral Hayes insisted, pounding his fist on the ancient conference table. Its power is too great to leave in the hands of a single commander. The Hyperion isn't just a ship. Martinez's consciousness projected itself at the center of the room. She's a living archive of human achievement. Our minds, our memories, our technology, all preserved for a future we hope would be ready for it. Chen felt the neural link humming at the base of her skull, sharing the quantum matrix's increasing agitation. The ship itself seemed to resist the idea of becoming just another weapon in the Coalition's arsenal. "Commander," Patel's voice whispered through her private comm channel. "You need to see this. Engineering Lab 3. Slipping away from the political theater, Chen made her way through the ship's winding corridors. She found Patel standing before a holographic display filled with complex equations. "The quantum matrix isn't just a storage system," Patel explained, excitement making her hands shake. "It's a key. Look at these energy signatures." The display showed a network of quantum connections spreading out from the Hyperion like a spider's web through spacetime. Each thread led to a different location, different coordinates that made Chen's head spin when she tried to comprehend them. "There are more ships out there," Chen realized. "Aren't there, Captain?" Martinez's consciousness materialized beside them, his expression grave. The Hyperion was never meant to be alone. She's part of a network, a fleet of ships like her, hidden throughout space and time, each carrying different aspects of humanity's legacy, waiting to be rediscovered. "That's why the Vraxians are so afraid," Dr. Wong added, her hologram joining them. "They don't just fear this ship, they fear what she represents, the return of humanity's golden age." A soft alarm chimed through the ship's systems. On the display, one of the quantum threads pulsed with increasing energy. "One of our sister ships is awakening," Martinez explained. "The network is responding to our reactivation. Soon, others will follow." "Commander," Park's voice cut through the comm. Multiple ships just appeared in orbit. Coalition heavy cruisers bearing Admiralty markings. Chen rushed back to the bridge, arriving just in time to see 5 Coalition warships taking up defensive positions around the Hyperion. Admiral Hayes' face appeared on the main screen, his expression set in stern lines. "Commander Chen, by order of Coalition High Command, you are hereby directed to surrender control of the Hyperion to Admiral Voss's command staff. Do not attempt to resist." Chen felt the ship's systems surging through her neural link, offering countless tactical options. They could easily brush aside the Coalition ships, jump to safety through a micro-wormhole, or even reverse time around the entire fleet. But that would only prove Hayes right. that this power was too dangerous to trust to any one person or crew. Captain Martinez, Chen addressed the quantum consciousness. You hid this ship for centuries, waiting for the right moment, the right people. Was it because of the technology, or because of what it might drive us to become? Martinez's hologram smiled sadly. Power isn't the problem, Commander. It's wisdom. We hid the Hyperion not because humanity wasn't strong enough to wield her, but because we needed to learn when not to. Chen nodded, understanding at last. She opened a channel to Hayes' flagship. Admiral, before you attempt to seize this vessel, there's something you need to understand. The Hyperion isn't just a weapon to be claimed or controlled. She's a test, one that humanity has failed before. The quantum matrix hummed with approval as Chen continued. We invite you aboard. Admiral, all of you, let us show you why this ship chose to sleep for so long, and what she can teach us about power, responsibility, and the future we could build together. The chamber fell silent as her words hung in the void. The next few moments would determine whether humanity had truly grown enough to reclaim its legacy, or whether the Hyperion would need to sleep for another century, waiting for wisdom to catch up with power. The Hyperion's observation deck offered a panoramic view of the Coalition defense fleet gathered around New Gibraltar. Chen stood at the window, watching ships arrive through hyperspace, a steady stream of reinforcements preparing for the coming storm. Long-range sensors have confirmed it, Park reported, his holographic image appearing beside her. The Vraxians have committed their entire home fleet, over 300 capital ships, including 7 dreadnoughts. They're not just sending a fleet, Martinez's consciousness added, materializing on her other side. They're sending a message. This ends here, one way or another. The past week had transformed the Hyperion. After Chen's standoff with Admiral Hayes, the Coalition had taken a different approach. Instead of trying to seize control, they'd sent their best scientists and strategists to learn from the ship's quantum consciousness. The result was a synthesis of old and new, as modern innovations merged with ancient technology. Status of the temporal network, Chen asked, turning from the window. Growing stronger, Dr. Wang's consciousness reported. We've detected quantum signatures from 3 other vessels like the Hyperion. They're awakening, but they won't reach us in time. We face this battle alone. A soft chime announced Admiral Hayes' arrival. The old man had changed in the past week, humbled by the knowledge the Hyperion had shared. Commander Chen, he nodded respectfully. The War Council is ready. The conference room was packed with holographic commanders from across the Coalition fleet. Chen took her place at the center, feeling the Hyperion systems interfacing with her neural link. The Vraxian battle plan is clear, she began, projecting tactical displays. They mean to contain us in a temporal siege. Their ships are equipped with chronometric disruptors designed to isolate us from the time stream. Can they succeed? Someone asked. They can try, Martins answered, his hologram highlighting key tactical points. But the Hyperion wasn't built to fight conventional battles. We're a key to humanity's legacy, and keys have a way of opening doors others would rather keep closed. Show them, Chen nodded. The tactical display shifted, revealing the true scope of their strategy. The Hyperion wasn't just one ship. It was a nexus point, a catalyst designed to awaken humanity's dormant potential. Every Coalition ship within range has been receiving quantum data packets from our matrix, Dr. Wang explained. Seeds of our technology, waiting to germinate. When the battle begins, your vessels will start to evolve. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the assembled commanders. On cue, engineering reports began flooding in from across the fleet, ships discovering new capabilities, systems upgrading themselves with forgotten technology. This is what the Vraxians truly fear, Chen continued. Not just the Hyperion, but what she represents. The reawakening of humanity's golden age. Incoming transmission, Park announced suddenly, from the Vraxian flagship. The tactical display was replaced by the image of Supreme Commander Vox, his scaled features set in grim lines. "You cannot comprehend the forces you meddle with," he growled. "We remember the devastation your kind once unleashed. We will not allow it again." "You remember wrong," Chen replied calmly. "You remember the weapons, the destruction, but you forgot why we created them. To explore, to understand, to grow. The Hyperion isn't a weapon, Commander. She's a teacher." "Then her lesson ends today," Vox snarled. The transmission cut off. "Multiple hyperspace signatures," Park reported. "They're coming in fast." Chen settled into her neural link chair, feeling the Hyperion systems merging with her consciousness. Around New Gibraltar, the Coalition fleet moved into defensive positions, their ships already showing signs of technological evolution. "All hands, battle stations," she ordered, her voice carrying across the quantum network to every ship in the fleet. "Today we fight not just for survival, but for understanding. Show them what humanity has learned in the centuries since we last met." The Vraxian armada emerged from hyperspace like an artificial constellation, their weapons already charging. But this time, they faced not just one ancient vessel, but an entire fleet touching the edge of transcendence. "All ships," Chen commanded, feeling the combined knowledge of two crews, one living, one digital, flowing through her mind. "Prepare to engage." The gathered fleets faced each other across the void, ancient enemies meeting once again. But this time, the stakes were higher than mere victory or defeat. The next few hours would determine whether humanity's lost legacy would light the way to a new future, or burn out in one final, catastrophic battle. Space erupted into a kaleidoscope of destruction as the two fleets clashed. The Hyperion moved like a dancer through the chaos, its quantum matrix synchronizing with the evolved Coalition ships around it. Each vessel now carried a spark of ancient technology, their weapons and shields harmonizing in ways that defied conventional physics. "Multiple temporal anomalies detected," Park reported from Tactical. "The Vraxians are trying to isolate us in separate time streams." Chen felt the ship's response through her neural link. The Hyperion didn't just fight the temporal attacks, it absorbed them, learned from them, adapted. Around them, Coalition ships followed suit, their newly awakened systems responding to the quantum network's guidance. "Now you understand." Martinez's consciousness spoke through the fleet-wide channel. This was never about the technology. It was about teaching humanity to evolve beyond it. A Vraxian dreadnought pushed through the line, its massive form bristling with chronometric weapons. Its first salvo struck a Coalition cruiser, trapping it in a bubble of accelerated time. But instead of aging to dust, the ship's quantum-infused systems reversed the effect, turning the temporal energy back on its attacker. "They're learning," Dr. Wong observed proudly. "All of them." Supreme Commander Vox's voice cut through the comm channels. "You cannot control this power. We've seen the devastation it brings." "Control was never the goal," Chen responded, guiding the Hyperion through a series of micro-jumps. "Understanding was. Look around you, Commander. Look what happens when we stop fighting the future and learn to grow with it." The battle had become more than a clash of fleets. It was a demonstration of potential, humanity's ability to adapt, to learn, to transcend their limitations. Each Coalition ship now moved with newfound grace, their crews interfacing with ancient systems, as if they'd used them for years. "Quantum network at full strength," Patil announced from engineering. "The matrix it's spreading beyond the fleet. Other ships, other systems, they're all starting to wake up." "That's impossible," Admiral Hayes breathed. "The range. Distance means nothing to quantum entanglement," Martinez explained. "The network was always there, waiting. The Hyperion just needed to remind humanity how to access it." A massive explosion lit up space as 3 Vraxian dreadnoughts converged on the Hyperion's position, their combined firepower enough to shatter a moon. But the ancient carrier didn't dodge. Instead, it opened itself to the attack, its quantum matrix spreading the energy through the network, transforming destruction into creation. Where the explosion should have been, A cascade of technological evolution spread through the Coalition fleet. Ships transformed, barriers between organic and digital consciousness blurred, and humanity took another step toward its forgotten potential. By the void, Vox whispered, his transmission carrying pure awe. This is what we feared. Not destruction, but transcendence. It was always your choice, Commander. Chen replied softly. Fight us and maintain the barriers between us, or join us and remember what we can become together. The battle hung in perfect balance for one eternal moment. Then, slowly, the Vraxian dreadnoughts powered down their weapons. Across their fleet, ships began standing down as their crews witnessed not the apocalypse they'd feared, but the dawn of something new. All vessels, cease fire, Vox commanded, his voice heavy with understanding. We remember now. Not just the war, but what came before. What could come again? The quantum network pulsed with new connections as Vraxian ships cautiously interfaced with it. Ancient knowledge flowed freely now, not as weapons or tools of power, but as steps on a path both species had forgotten they once walked together. The other ships like the Hyperion. Chen asked Martinez's consciousness, will they still come? They already have, he replied, gesturing to the fleet around them. Look at what you've built. Every ship here carries a piece of our legacy now. The Hyperion was never meant to be unique. It was meant to be a beginning. As the combined fleets settled into peaceful formation around New Gibraltar, Chen felt the weight of centuries lifting from the ancient carrier. The Hyperion had completed its mission, not by winning a war, but by reminding two civilizations of what they could achieve together. Stand down from battle stations, she ordered, a smile touching her lips, and prepare for first contact, the proper way this time. The stars seemed to shine brighter as humanity took its first steps into a future that was both ancient and new, guided by the wisdom of the past and the promise of tomorrow.